How's it going, people? Welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd do this video quickly before the Norwich game starts. I think, what's the time? Yeah, it's 5:30, so that's due to kick off in half an hour. But there's some good news at last. Genuine good news. Not just an away win at Southampton, not just an away win at Sheffield United. None of them things there are going to help us turn a corner. But Bukayo Saka re-signing a contract is a start. It's something to build on. It's something positive that hopefully breeds more positivity around the club. Because he is still very young, and there is one thing I do want to mention before we get ahead of ourselves with this. This is Arsenal Football Club, and the bare minimum should be that our young players want to stay and develop at the club. The bare minimum. So although I'm gassed that we re-signed, because I'm a big fan of Saka, I have been since he was introduced by Unai Emery in the Europa League last season. You could see he had bags of potential then. That's why I'm slightly aggrieved that it's taken this long to re-sign and get a new deal done. But it is done. But like I said, this should be the bare minimum. And the way it's all been released, the way it's all been taken in online by the fan base, it's a bit too much in my opinion. He's a very young man. He's still got lots to do, lots to develop. And we've released the news like we've just re-signed Lionel Messi and he's going to retire at the club. Don't get me wrong, be happy, because I am. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Saka, and I don't want people to think this video is negative, because it's not. Because this is something to build, and this is something that you can look at and say we might be turning the corner. Because at the same time, we've seen over the years the mismanagement that's led to contracts running down, that's led to players leaving the club on the free or holding us to ransom and costing us till this day with certain players. So Bukayo Saka, him signing hopefully paves the way for more, I can't think of the opposite of mismanagement right now, but for more growth in terms of doing things properly at Arsenal Football Club. Because the reason we've got to this position where Saka's held out on a contract and with a year to go we've managed to get him to re-sign is because of the mismanagement. So let's not forget all about that. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not forget there's a big summer ahead with lots to do. Lots to do. Ornstein saying that Thomas Partey was still very much interested in him. Listen, even if we get Partey, there's lots more to do. That's not it. We need to be working overtime this summer at Arsenal Football Club to get what we need to get done. And it can be done, trust me. I've seen other clubs turn around 10 players in one summer window. Other big clubs turn around 10 players in the summer transfer window. So it can be done. But let's stick to the positive news, people. Let's stick to Saka. I didn't know this, but I read today he's our first teenager to hit double digits in assists throughout a season since Cesc Fabregas in 06-07. And I guess it's no mean feat for any teenager to get those numbers, let alone one that's just been thrust into the first team due to injuries at a mix of left wing, left back, and the left side of midfield. So for me, he's done amazingly, and one of the shining lights of our season this season. It's been a dim season once again, but in Saka, in Martinelli, in Leno, in Tierney, there's been some shining light where you can see, hopefully, something to build on moving forward. Get the right characters around these young players, get the right bodies in and around them, get the right leadership in and around them. And in 2, 3, 4 years, we could be laughing like Liverpool have been. But there's massive work to do. And you lot all subscribe to me, so a lot of you lot are realists as well. So you know the job on hand. And some excerpts I took out from Arteta talking about Eddie. We'll start with Arteta. He said, Bukayo is a talented and intelligent young player. He has impressed me with his work ethic and attitude to learn and adapt. And it has paid off in his performances. I'm excited to continue working with him, to develop him further, and for him to help us achieve our goals. Pretty much says it all, you know. Like, well, there's not much negative things you can say about Saka from top to bottom. I mean, If you haven't already, go on the Arsenal website, and to be honest, they split it up in many different news headlines and whatnot. And this is my point about it's a young player. Just release it on a calm one, yeah? Just release it on a calm one. Because don't get it twisted. If we don't, this is massive news for us, but if we don't fix up the way we've been managed over the last decade, if we don't fix that up in the next 2-3 years, he will be out of it. He will be pushing for a move. So as much as this is a step in the right direction, we need to keep stepping and striding, in fact, because steps ain't going to do it, the amount we've fallen behind. Edu says, this is something everyone involved wanted to happen, and we are delighted that Bukayo has signed a new long-term contract. He's making great progress, and he's one of a number of young players who has developed through our academy. This is important for us as we move forward as a club. And as the director of football, you get pretty much generic statements like that. I think I've been harsh on Edu at times this season. I've been harsher on Raul and Vinay. Listen, I've got a soft spot for Edu. You know, he's done big things at this football club. I hold great memories of Edu during his playing career. So hopefully, you know, this move pushes the club to move forward properly this time, because it needs to be done this summer. FFP relaxed, get it done. And like I said, yeah, sorry, go on to the Arsenal website, and there's a news bit that says Saka in his own words. Read that, because he talks about how he grew up, how he got into football, how he got into Arsenal, some motivational factors, what motivates him in life, what matters to him in life. And you get a good picture of the boy. Like, you get a good picture of who he is, how he is, his mentality. So I recommend reading that. He talked about his dad taking him to Arsenal games. His dad was a Newcastle fan because of Alan Shearer. And I completely understand that, you know. Growing up, obviously, people tended to but latch on to players. And fair play, he still took him to the Arsenal. He still saw sense there. And he said he was also pushed to do well in school, as a lot of people are. In this country, it's not like America, where you need your grades to succeed in sports and to get the scholarships you need to succeed in sports and move on to the next level. But here, especially young footballers that have potential, sometimes they could fall off on the wayside because of too much arrogance, too much ignorance at times too. So he said they had 4 A stars and 3 A's in his GCSEs. Amazing. I mean, I got good GCSEs, but they were nowhere near that. So you can see that the head he has on his shoulders, and that's credit to his family and his culture and his upbringing, you know. Like, obviously, with his Nigerian background, I've got a lot of Nigerian friends. I was recently groomsman at my Nigerian mate's wedding. I know the culture and the morals growing up. He is typical of what to expect coming from an African household. So for me to see that, and for him to be signing at this club and being a role model for the youngsters now, because he mentioned Jack Wilshere, and seeing a big picture of Jack Wilshere at in the Hayland when he was coming up, when he was developing through the ranks, and thinking to himself, I want to be that next player. I want to do what Jack Wilshere has done in breaking through to the first team. So this is essentially what Saka is now. You know, Saka is that big picture that young players are going to be looking at, growing up, developing at Arsenal Youth Academy. And they're going to be saying, I want to be the next Saka. I want to break through to the first team. And it's good to have a player there in Saka, that abundance in quality, but also very mature at such a young age. In his own words, I took just one little bit, and that was the ending, to be honest. I love the way he ended it. He said, now that I'm in this position and that I've got to the level Wilshere got to when he was my age, I'm really proud of myself, and so we should be. I'm really happy, and I just want to keep taking each day as it comes, staying humble and trying to get better each day. Again, typifies the person. You know, I think we could all guess his character. We could all guess the type of lad he is, and this further justifies and further goes to show not only quality, but a good head on his shoulders. And in football in this day and age, you need that. You need to be humble, but at the same time, you need to be motivated in the right manner, by the right things, not everyday money, you know. And I know a lot of fans did look at Saka holding out on the contract as a money issue. I've never looked at it as a money issue. The way I see it is that Arsenal Football Club isn't the best platform to develop as a youngster right now. Not only won't you not get the best money, but you're not going to develop the best either. The club's been a mess for years and it's only been getting worse. So I can understand young players potentially seeking pastures new because it's sickening at times. It's sickening, you know. So very glad that he signed. I'm very glad that he signed. And he goes on to talk about Arteta. He said, I really believe in the philosophy that the boss is bringing in and what he's building. And I'm just really excited to see where he's going to take us in the future. I felt that it was right in my heart to extend my contract here. And I feel like this is going to be the best for my development. So listen, Arteta has got a lot to do with this. I think that Arteta had to sell him the next few years in essence, in terms of what he sees, what the plan is for not only Saka, but the plan for Arsenal Football Club. And it seems to have worked. Like I just said, it's not all about money. And I don't think it's all about money with Saka. It was about development. It was about platform. It was about the best for him. The best for him. He says Mikel is amazing, you know. He manages to give so much detail while at the same time being so clear. It's just amazing to have such a great coach. The future looks bright, and that's why I'm happy to be here, which again further emphasizes that Arteta must have really sold him this plan. You know, I wish we as fans could hear about the plan a bit more. Maybe it would put our fears at ease a bit and raise our hopes, you know. But we're just going to have to look at things like this, Saka signing a contract, and take from it what we will. The last bit I took out was interesting as well, because he was asked about, like, not role models, but he was asked about people that's helped him come through and helped him achieve this breakthrough that he's achieved over the past year. And he said, for starters, I have to mention Unai Emery, because of the amount he believed in me, the opportunities he gave me. I'll forever be grateful for them. And we can't forget that, you know. A lot of us turned on Emery. I know I wanted him out in the end too. But that's just because it got into a position where it was just untenable and there was no way round. I'll never fully blame Unai Emery for what happened. Never. You know, because there's a lot more to it. But it's nice to hear that Saka has a soft spot there for him, because we can't forget that it was Emery that introduced Saka in the Europa League. It was Emery that gave him his first start away, first start at home. And, you know, Saka recognises him, and we have to recognise that we've moved on for Unai Emery now, but Arteta faces the same struggle moving into this transfer window. Will they sign the players Arteta wants, or will they sign players like the ones Arteta wants? You know, I keep thinking about when Unai wanted Partey and we signed Torreira. I mean, he wanted Fabinho, we signed Torreira. Then he wanted Partey, but we didn't do that. He wanted Maguire, we signed Luiz. And, you know, it's all mad, you know. Don't try and get me a player you think is like that person and cheaper. And one thing that reminded me of that is when Edu said Mari was signed because Arteta wanted a left foot centre back. Now, I want to hear a player was signed because Arteta wanted that player. Not Arteta gave me a description of the player he wants, and that's what we found. You know, I'd rather Arteta do the work, or Arteta and the scouts get the job done in terms of personnel. And that's what really needs to happen moving forward, a bit more clear communication from top to bottom. Again, like Arteta mentioned in that pre-match press conference before Sheffield United, very clear communication from top down is one of the things we need to put in place to achieve the goal of getting back into Champions League, getting back into top four, getting back to challenging for the league title and potentially Champions League in the next decade, 5 to 10. But yeah, people, let me know about this Saka deal. How do you feel? Again, I'm interested to see how long. All we get told is a long-term contract. In the next couple of weeks, I'm sure we'll find out how long it really is. We'll get a rough idea of how much he really is on, because that would be important, because in 3-4 years, you're going to have to put money on top of that. And if he's on a lot now, imagine then if the development goes as it has done in the past year and a half. And yeah, that's about it, people. That's about it. Well, we'll be 15 minutes to go before Norwich. I'll try to get this up by like 7-8 o'clock for you guys. And then I'll bring the Norwich match review and player ratings out tomorrow morning, people. Continue sharing, liking, subscribing. Instagram, Turkish LDN. Twitter, Turkish LDN. Subscribe, follow those social media channels. And until tomorrow morning, people, the Norwich match review. Love, I'm out.